Tennessee Tech head coach Bobby Waters, second year with the Golden Eagles. Coach, just give us your general thoughts ahead of this season, then we'll get to some questions.
Yeah, appreciate y'all being here this morning. Thanks for putting this together, Kyle. We're very excited with stepping into this season. This will be our second season as a coaching staff. Couldn't be happier with the progress we've made as a program. Looking back to last year, tying for a conference championship, we're really excited about that. That was Tennessee Tech's first winning season in 13 years, and then very disappointed with the fact that we didn't earn the right to compete in the FCS playoffs last year. So it's a big goal of a program this year is to tie or win outright a conference championship again, and then earn the right to compete in postseason. We've currently got 100 players on campus training, just had a training session this morning. Excited with the progress, grateful to President Oldham, all the support behind the program, excited for our new athletic director, Casey Fox, that'll be here soon. So there's a lot of positive momentum behind the program, and we need to carry that momentum onto the field starting on August 30th this season.
Sorry, there we go. I was on mute. Okay, we got questions. Let me know. We're going to start first. We'll go with Dan Verdon from the Prairie State Pigskin. We'll got Ben Craven. You'll be next. Go ahead, Dan.
Hi, Coach. I have two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
The first one is, how did your time away from the game help you now? Or what was that like for you? Maybe is a better way to word that.
Oh, the number one thing, it really improved my golf game. I got so much better at golf. That was the key. To answer your question on a serious note, when I was let go by Old Dominion, COVID hit the next year. The following year, the NIL happened. So I had the opportunity those 4 years that I was out to do a lot of research, visited a lot of schools, have a lot of friends that are head coaches, both at P4, G5, also at FCS, to take a lot of notes on how to approach it when I did get another head coaching job. So the majority of that time was spent doing a lot of research development. How would I do it differently in terms of hiring a staff, building a program, the involvement of the NIL, the collective, the importance of relationships with alumni. All of those things were a big part of the learning process when I was away from coaching that we've been able to implement here at Tennessee Tech.
My second question is, both as a coach and as a father, what's it mean to have your son on the team this year?
Oh, it's a dream come true. I had the opportunity to coach his older brother, Derek, at Old Dominion. Derek ended up being a captain his senior year, honorable mention all-conference player, 2 undergraduate degrees, a master. His brother Drew's on the same track right now. He graduated from Eastern Illinois last year. Very grateful to Chris Wilkerson and their staff. Drew really enjoyed his time there. He enrolled in grad school here in January, working on his master's. Dean's List first semester. How about that? Tim and Aaron, just like these two guys. So having that opportunity to coach Drew like I did his brother is a dream come true. And maybe you guys can help me find out, as any Division I head coach ever coached 2 sons, one at FBS, one at FCS. Let's see if we can figure that one out, Kyle. I'd like to know that.
We can look.
Thank you, Coach, for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We will look that up, Coach. Let's go to Ben Craven. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Coach, just to start off, what are some of the differences in your off-season and preparation from year 1 to year 2?
The biggest thing now is always the transfer portal. In 19 months that we've been here, we have 100 new players on the roster, 60 from the portal, 40 from high school. We still recruit high school. We believe in that primarily in Tennessee, but the focus is first and foremost recruiting and the transfer portal, being able to retain our roster. I've got 2 players here you're going to meet today that could have left. They decided to stay. We had 12 players this April that were approached and contacted about entering the transfer portal. Could have made a lot more money, quite honestly, than they're making here, and we were able to retain 9 of those players. So 75% of our players that were approached, we were able to retain here. Part of it is their loyalty to this school and this staff, the culture that we built within this program, our theme about run it back this year. Everybody was upset that we didn't earn the right to compete for a championship last year in the playoffs. So that certainly helped. And then just the fact that we've been able to start a collective here. Our president's committed to cost of attendance Alston. So our players were able to receive that additional compensation based on what they've earned. And as a head coach now in this day and age, if number one, you want to be successful, and number two, you want to keep your job, you have to be committed to not only maintaining your roster, but upgrading your roster every year. It's the way it is right now in college athletics. You can either embrace it like we have here, or you can get run over by it. We're going to have 60 new players that we've signed since January join the team. We had approximately 20 in January, 20 in April, and we'll have 20 high school joining us this summer. So you either need to embrace that as a program like we have, or you're not going to have success. So that's been the number one most important thing, was the roster. Number two is we have an outstanding strength coach in Chris Laskowski. We just hired another strength coach to work with the team. Those guys have been here grinding all 8 weeks this summer, committed to the program. So building the culture within the program, building your team for the season, and then preparing to start preseason camp on August 3rd. That's been the focus since the end of last season.
Well, and you mentioned, so many new players, and, some players leaving. Just what are some of the biggest ways your team's going to look different on the field this year?
We'll look bigger. We'll look longer. We'll look better coming out of the tunnel than we did last year. Whether or not that leads to better performance, we'll see. But the focus has been by Justin McMullen, our outstanding general managers. We've studied all the top teams in FCS. We've studied all 10 positions. What's their height? What's their weight? We break it down in that parameter to try to match what the best teams in the country are doing right now. And we've got good football teams in the OVC. There were 3 teams that earned the right to be in the national championship tournament last year. If you look at the FCS right now, it's being dominated by the Dakotas. North Dakota State's won 10 of the last 14. South Dakota State's won the other 2, and then Sam Houston and James Madison won them, and they've since moved up. So it's the Dakotas, they're dominated. We're studying those teams. We're trying to match them. We're very specific in who we recruit out of the portal or high school by position, by size, by rep count. We study the transfer portal players, PFF. Do they play? Are they dependable? So very specific as to what Tennessee Tech needs to be a better football team. That's been the goal through the portal and through high school recruiting.
I also kind of want to ask you about the preseason poll. I can't remember the last time that Tennessee Tech was voted, number 1 in the preseason poll. Just
1978.
Wow. Okay. So what are some of your thoughts about that?
But our philosophy with that is number one, we're excited, we're appreciative, but preseason is for recognition, postseason is for accomplishment. And what I mean by that, it's great to be recognized. It shows all the hard work over the last 19 months that everybody's been putting into this program, led by the players, the support from the administration, the staff, what everybody's done to be recognized. Last year, we were recognized as 7th out of 9 teams preseason. This year, we're recognized as 1. We appreciate that. We're grateful. The focal point, though, is on the achievement. What do we do at the end of the season? Are we deserving to earn the right to compete in the national championship tournament? Did we take that next step as a program? So the focal point is being grateful for the recognition and being focused on the achievement.
Any players that you can think of that we might need to keep our eyes out for?
Depends on how much time you got right now.
Just, anyone you want to highlight on.
Sure. Start with the all-conference players from last year, led by Tim Koutras, who's here with me this morning, Aaron Swafford. Those guys are accomplished. They've been all-conference. Tim's been all-American. They played a lot of football here at Tennessee Tech. Aaron's been 3 seasons. Tim's been 2. But it starts with those guys, and I'm most proud of the fact that they're accomplished in the classroom, and this is going to be their 2nd year being captains. That's very rare in college athletics. I don't care what sport it is, to have somebody be a captain for a 2nd year. And there's a lot that goes into being a captain at Tennessee Tech, especially the amount of time they spend with me on decisions for for leading the program, but it starts with those two. The obvious question we get asked a lot, and rightfully so, is the quarterback situation. We've signed a couple players in the offseason that have national recognition, led by Keikoa Vesperis, who led the nation in completion percentage last year at Eastern Washington. He came in January and earned the starting job in the spring. Richie Munoz joined us this summer. He was also a starter at Weber State with very good numbers. So I feel good about the fact we signed two quarterbacks out of the Big Sky, which is arguably the best FCS conference in America, right up there with the Missouri Valley. That's the big one, that position. And then there's a number of other players that have already received notoriety. Our wide receiver, Noah Robinson, was voted by one of the publications as one of the top receivers coming back in America. We've got running backs, tight ends, offensive linemen, all the same thing. And then we signed some really good players on defense. So there's a lot of guys to watch. I don't want to go through all of them now because we just don't have the time.
Hey, I really appreciate it though. And you kind of already alluded to it a couple times, but what are some of your, I guess, short-term and overall like goals and expectations for this season?
Well, the short-term goal is always to compete for a conference championship. Everything we do when the ball's kicked in the air in the fall is focused on competing for the OVC championship. Everything starts with that. If you can win your conference championship, then you get an automatic bid into the national championship tournament. So that's number one. Number two, the program philosophy is to aim high. So everything we do every single day is about excellence in whatever we're competing at. For the players, as a person, a student, an athlete on the football field, is to be the best team we can be. Our theme as a program is to focus on the process of winning. So every single day it's about our planning, preparation, and execution. But it will always be, as long as I'm the head coach here, the focus is on winning a conference championship and earning an outright bid to the national championship tournament.
Coach, I think that's all I really had. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions or if we want to go ahead and move on to the players.
I got one or two, and then if somebody else has, let me know that in the chat. Coach, how has this summer been different than last summer when you got there, hadn't coached the game yet? How does that all play into the differences?
I'll let the players answer what they've seen as improvements and changes. There's been a lot, Kyle, in terms of starting with the commitment to the players, in terms of the funding for the program, how much better things are for them now in terms of their day-to-day lives and what we have for them as they're sweating and grinding and trying to get better, just how differently they feel, the improvements for us associated with the programs in terms of staffing. Thanks to President Oldham, when I was hired, we had 14 staff members associated with the football program. Now we have 34. We have a full recruiting department. We have people that work in the areas of our creative media. We have people that work in the strength department, training room, all the areas of what I call the 5 pillars of a championship program: the staff, recruiting department, strength and conditioning, academics, equipment, and our medical personnel. Everything has improved exponentially in the last 12 months from where we were last year at this time. And the goal is that the players feel that. They feel that level of support, which in turn helps them with their commitment to excellence.
You said commitment a couple of times, and last year during our weekly sessions, we talk about an update on your facility and what the football stadium will look like when everything's done, and just how exciting that is.
Very, very excited, very grateful to President Oldham, what he's accomplished, working in partnership with the city of Cookeville, the county of Putnam. We'll kick off at home next year. Our first home game there'll be a $50 million expansion. The entire west side will be brand new. It's a brand new locker room for the players, which they deserve, which will be a top 10 locker room in the country at our level. New premium seating, suites, press box. All of it will just be an incredible improvement for the facility. We're also working with our leadership here, our new athletic director, Casey Fox, on building a new football operations center. We're raising funds towards that. So everything that's happening from that regard, Kyle, has been a major improvement over the last 12 months.
And then you allude to, I think you alluded to this earlier, but your schedule this year at home, a lot of home games, and it's really exciting, the non-conference. Can you hit on that again for us?
Yeah, it's the complete opposite of last year where we were 5 home, 7 away. We opened on the road at 2 FBS opponents, one of them being Georgia, who at the time was ranked #1, got 12 players hurt, lost our starting quarterback, and started the year 2-5, which was a major factor in why we ended up 7-5 last year. And we completely flipped that. Now we're 7 home, 5 away. We only have 1 FBS game later in the season at Kentucky. The first 3 games are home. So the scheduling model has been set to give us an opportunity to have success on the football field. Nothing's guaranteed. You've got to go out, you got to compete to win every game. But every head coach you'll talk to on this conference call will tell you that the more opportunities you have to play at home, the more opportunities you have for success. And I studied everybody's record last year. You look, teams were more successful at home than they were away. We were 4-1 at home and lost 1 game on a last-second field goal we missed. We could have been undefeated, yet we were 3-4 on the road. It's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win when you've got to play multiple FBS games on the road. And I'm grateful to President Oldham. He's the reason that we were able to flip the schedule this year to be 7 home and 5 away.
Anybody else? Last chance questions for Coach Wilder.
Coach Mark Simpson with the OVC Big South office. Thinking back to last season, going into the fall, and now a year later, did you anticipate the success winning time for a conference championship this early? Where was this in your blueprint entering your time at Tennessee Tech?
Yeah, our goal was to compete for and win a conference championship last year. That was the goal from the first day I was hired in December in 2023. That's always going to be the mindset. I don't want anybody associated with Tennessee Tech football, player, coach, staff member, fan, alumni, to ever think differently. And in order to win, you have to have a winning mindset. So that was the goal. It was very challenging being 2-5. We had to win our last 5 games to end up 6-2 and tie for a conference championship. But that will always be the goal here, Mark, as long as I'm the head coach, is to compete for and win the conference championship.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this year.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mark.
Coach, thanks for your time. Appreciate you, and best of luck all season long.
Thank you, guys.